Robot Rebellion Heat D saw upsets as Wheelie Big Lad sent itself out of the arena, having to climb back up the points table throughout the rest of the episode. Sprocket Raccoon wins on countback, and we had a bit of a pit party to celebrate. 3 times, that's a lot.
Welcome back to Robot Rebellion 2024. The action is certainly hotting up as we approach the halfway mark in the series. I'm your host, Jevon Woodrow, joined alongside
Anderson Hill. You're right, Jevon. It has been absolute action-packed nonsense so far, and I can't wait to see what this heat brings us. Some old faces returning, some new faces, and let's get down to it. Let's see what our amazing editor's done as we check to see who's in this heat.
Heat E sees lifter Chucky, the number 12 seeds, return to the competition, there to face a foray of foes. Unstoppable Force, the eggbeater, Rudimental, the lifter, and Flick, the flipper. We'll see them in a little bit. Here's a reminder on how the competition works. 4 robots enter into a round robin of matches, each fighting each other once, earning points as they go. The winner of the heat is the robot with the most points at the end of the episode, earning a spot in the round of 16, with second place heading into the play-ins for a last chance to qualify. In the event of a tied heat, a lockdown rumble will decide who moves through. The robots can earn 5 points for a knockout win, 4 for a judge's win, 2 for a judge's loss, and 1 for a knockout loss. Enough on all that format, it's time to look at our first matchup tonight, and it's a big one to start the show, as Dylan Stanley's Chucky, the number 12 seeds. This flipper is always strong, stronger than it looks. Perhaps a bit quicker than the Roboteer can operate it though, we shall find out. They are up against Unstoppable Force. Corbin Randall, new to the competition, but this robot is always a big hitter across the UK. It's got a fork-biting weapon, but no alternative ground game. We shall join both in the arena.
I hear trouble coming. It's Heat E and it's Chucky versus Unstoppable Force. This is going to be a big matchup. 2 very powerful robots. Unstoppable Force, the eggbeater robot. Chucky with a different lifter here. It's sort of red?
Orange, I think.
It's drenched in the blood of its victims.
Yeah, Chucky may look cute. It's actually a very, very effective robot.
Yeah.
And it's seeded 12th. It's one of the 12. It's the lowest seed of the series. But don't let that fool you. It is a very, very good machine.
3, 2, 1. Begin.
Unstoppable Force up to speed and face planting the floor a little bit. When it does so, you can see it gyring around there, and Chucky just lining up their shot. That front plow negating the eggbeater, but a chunk taken out of it.
Yeah, that was quite a big chunk taken out. Thankfully, there is still plenty more shovel there to get underneath and lifting it up. It's also perfectly designed to deflect drum spinners, but against this eggbeater, it is struggling a little bit. They're getting chewed up there, and now this is really good driving by Unstoppable Force to get around and avoid that scoop.
Chucky has a massive chunk taken out of it, but is propped up at the minute.
Enable.
Stuck on its side. Can it get down? Yes,
Yes,
it can.
it can, and self-righting as well while it's at it.
Wriggling itself out of trouble. Now Chucky trying to get that scoop underneath again. The pit has been enabled. That will definitely be a key tactic for Chucky in this fight to get that pit down and get the Unstoppable Force down into it.
Chucky is on the back foot here, you have to think, and very close to going out of the arena.
Oh!
A huge flip in the air and almost saw it down, but a push there, the pit is going down.
Going
Yeah, they went
down.
about a foot
With
in
a
the
good
air
bit
there.
of
And then
driving.
Chucky! Oh my
Ooh,
goodness!
narrowly escaping danger. Can he get out of there? Chucky getting into a good position, but misses it.
That's
Unstoppable Force with the rope-a-dope, and now Chucky seems a little bit stuck.
That defied all laws of physics!
And down it
Chucky
goes. A
down!
huge hit sends it.
A huge upset there. The number 12 seed sent down the pit, and the Unstoppable Force could be one to be watched out for in this series.
Well, we've got Dylan here with the seeded Chucky. That was a very exciting fight. There is a few nasty chunks taken out of that snowplow on the front. How did you think that went? I mean, it was very back and forth from what I could see.
Yeah, I don't think I was winning it apart from when I got him close to the pit. and then he managed to get himself out. So I think, yeah, the wedge on the front didn't really do what I was hoping. I was hoping that it would just kind of brush around it, but he took some big chunks out of Chucky. Yeah, he's not looking quite as pretty as he was when he went in.
Do you have a replacement for the wedge or a different format that we can see?
It was only really for Unstoppable, that wedge, so it's that'll go in the bin now. I've got plenty of spares, but we'll probably go back to the forks for the next round.
Cool. I look forward to seeing you hopefully do well in the next fights.
Thank you.
Well, that was a fairly brutal display of violence.
Yeah, it ended up going somewhat better than I thought. Obviously, Chucky designs his wedge in such good ways that they work so effectively. But I've also listed it as one of the strengths that the way I've designed the weapon, it hits so low to the ground, it can hit forks and wedges sort of, it just does it. So throughout that fight, it ended up, even though he would push me against the wall, my weapon would get shoved into his wedge and I'd end up hitting him away.
How do you curb the nerves when going up to against a seated robot? I mean, you have got quite a powerful weapon on there.
About the nerves, it's always scary, especially a robot like Chucky himself. I know at one point where I almost got put in the pit. That was, my heart went. I was terrified, but because at least it's a control bot in the sense, I don't have to worry too much about getting damaged myself. So it sort of slightly works out there.
Well, you got a very lucky hit on. Chucky ended up in the pit, and you got the win.
So I think it was looking pristine when it went in. But Unstoppable Force managed to take a lot of chunks off the TPU, but basically the main damage to the flipper, which is completely wrecked. The rest of the robot's fine, still functions, but yeah, all the TPU bits are a bit tired.
What a way to start the show. Next up, Rudimental. Stuart Brown's lifter returns to the competition, back with a brand new colour scheme for this year. His four-wheel drive TPU configuration mad lifter is ready for action. They are up against Josh Dunn, Flick. This flipper has been across the whole UK competing left, right and centre in 2024, but it is their first year of competition. Still perhaps the rookies then. We shall find out.
Loaded into the box for our next battle, we have Rudimental. All changed for their colour scheme once again. They are going up against Flick, which is a new robot for this competition, but not a new robot. They have fought at basically every event in 2024.
Yes, with varying degrees of success, but it is renowned for its spring-loaded flipper.
It's Flick in the red square, Rudimental in the blue.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, begin.
Here we go then. Cagey start from both of these robots, seeing who can get lower, and it's neither of them. They are basically matched on fork length. Flick is underneath, and there is a flip, but it's a little bit docile to how we usually see it.
Yeah, definitely so. Usually it's all high impact and really quick, but sometimes robots like these, they require a little bit more time and a little bit more precision driving in order to be as effective as they can be. For example, because their weapons are so long, they do struggle to sometimes get underneath whilst going full like a bull in a china shop, so they need to slow themselves down just a little bit.
Now stuck on the pit seams here is Flick, and that lifter does not look fully loaded here.
No, it's more lifting at the moment, and Rudimental could well be in with a chance of taking advantage of that. If they can get that lifter of theirs underneath, they could flick over, and Flick might struggle herself right.
Now Flick is against the wall, being pinned by Rudimental and turned up. Can they get down from there? They're going to try to self-right. If they can, a suplex there from Rudimental. Sees Flick back onto its wheels.
Now, they may rule that decision later on. That was a better flick there from Flick. Can they now use their flicker to self-right, or are they in serious trouble? I think the count might have to start soon if they can't get themselves back over. Rudimental trying to right them as well in a sort of sporting way and sort of carrying them around the arena now.
Yeah, very good control there from the forks on the front of Rudimental, and Flick is struggling here. They're trying to get their flipper back into action, and they do. It flips over, so they have got some flip, but they now seem stuck. One wheel I noticed earlier on is starting to come off of its hub, and that might have just got them stuck. You can see one wheel moving. It's come off completely. It's come off completely. It's no longer a worry, in fact. It's no longer jamming anything other than the floor.
One wheel on their wagon, and that means it's very easy for Rudimental to scoot them up and shove them down the pit.
Excellent control there from Rudimental. They've done very well.
Okay, we are here with Flick. Bit of a flop this match.
Yeah, definitely. I had something wrong with the servo. I think it's binding, so I'm going to have to re-weld up and see what we go on. We did a few flicks there, but I just don't know what's going on there.
So you're one of the rare actual spring-powered flippers instead of mounting it on a servo mechanism. Yeah. How much complicated is that as to work on?
Well, I have the problem with the choo-choo system, so sometimes that gets caught. So last event I had a problem with that. And then the other issue can be if I have a servo fail or not sync together, then that can cause them to argue and have problems, which is what I think has happened now.
For the viewers at home, could you just describe the choo-choo system?
Yeah, I can try a little bit with something like this. So the weapon holds like this, and then as it comes round, it pulls it round, and then it lets go like that. That's the only way I can do it.
A very complicated system which did let you down in this fight, so hopefully your next fight will be much better and we'll see you flicking robots around the arena.
Back to normal, hopefully. We'll see.
There we go. Thank you very much. Okay, we are here with Rudimental and a very tense battle, Flipper versus Flipper. How did you think you did?
I mean, I came away with the win, which is good, but didn't perform how I'd want to. There's something wrong with the drive, kept getting stuck on the floor. Also had issues with my transmitter as well, so it wasn't the showing I'd hoped for, but, you know, he's got a brilliant bot, so good, lucky to get away with the win.
Is that something to do with your flipper position?
No, I think it's a couple of bad design choices. My chassis warped with the new material that I was printing, so it's actually concaved and down the middle. And also I tried to go with a softer top and bottom plate for a bit more give, but it's turned out to not provide the kind of rigidity that I need for a stable drive platform, so it's just some bad design choices, I think.
Well, one fight down with a win. Do you think you'll do well in the competition?
No. I've got Unstoppable Force next. Give it a crack. Haven't got a lot of spares as well, but you know, it's all about the event, having fun, and so that's all that matters.
Well, I wish you all the best of luck in the competition. Thank you very much.
Here is your first points check-in of the heat then. At the top of the table, Unstoppable Force and Rudimental on 5 points apiece. Down the bottom, Chucky and Flick on 1 each. It is all still to play for, however, as we move into round 2 of competition and we head to the top of the table for our first matchup. It's Unstoppable Force against Rudimental. This should be an interesting fight. We've just seen Unstoppable Force against one control bot who thought they had a game plan for the eggbeater, but it didn't pay off for them. Can Rudimental's version of that plan work out for them? I wonder. Both Rudimental and Chucky similar in what they are trying to do, but doing it in 2 very different ways. Will we see one-way traffic once again, or will this fight be a little bit different? We'll join them in the arena to find out.
Loaded into the arena for our next battle, we have Unstoppable Force, the eggbeater, going up against Rudimental, the lifting robot. Both of these coming off of wins. Unstoppable Force really dominant against Chucky, managed to just peel away that front wedge. And Rudimental, they managed to see to Flick, who had struggling issues. This is going to be a tough battle for them, as Unstoppable Force is literally an unstoppable force. But can they be the one to stop them? We shall find out.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Begin.
The Unstoppable Force fan crew are in, and a big hit to start this battle as Rudimental sent flying onto its back.
Yeah, Rudimental went for the box rush there, but it backfired horrendously for them, and now they're getting their rear end handed to them by Unstoppable Force with that dangerous spinner. I don't really know if they have an answer for it here. I thought the wedges at the front might benefit them, but they haven't been benefiting them at all so far in this fight, Jevon.
That's possibly their best push so far, but yes, I agree. They are really struggling here, and Unstoppable Force gets some excellent engagements with them. That spinner just absolutely clouting them left, right, and centre. The pit button is now enabled, and I think if I'm Rudimental, I'm going for it as soon as I possibly can.
Tell you what, Rudimental.
Oh, huge hit and very nearly out of the arena, but manages just to survive on the fringes of death. The pit button was pressed in that moment. The armor package on Rudimental is looking a little bit looser than it did at the start of this battle.
It is looking very poorly at this point. It nearly hit the ceiling a moment ago. It was about a millimetre or two away from hitting the ceiling. Nearly went out the arena, but it is still going. Still using good driving as well to get around to the sides of Unstoppable Force. And the pit open, we could see a surprise that we never did see it there.
Rudimental is an excellent control bot at the end of the day, and its design is meant to be good at battling the egg beaters like Unstoppable Force. They managed to just escape and hit the back end once again.
This is definitely a driving versus weapon fight. Very close! Oh my goodness me!
Can they escape from danger here?
No,
they can't. And that was the most brutal pitting of the day so far. That was visceral. I felt that one in my bones.
Well, Unstoppable Force by name, Unstoppable Force by nature. Rudimental kind of took a lot of them hits.
I'm incredibly impressed. I'm really happy with how my weapon's performing. It is now, because I've made it heavier since last competitions, it now hits much harder. But to survive that many hits, he was getting sent quite a lot, is incredibly amazing to survive something like that. So he's built his robot really tough, and it is always good to see.
Do you struggle with trying to keep it in check when it starts to gyro? Because I can see that becoming a bit of an issue.
The gyro's a new thing. As I said, since putting on a heavier weapon, it now gyros terribly. It used to never gyro, and it was quite a menace because it was as quick as just a normal bot without a weapon. Now it's not anymore, and it is much harder to control, to try and keep it, especially facing control bots. It's hard to keep it facing them.
I mean, in all fairness, you did pretty well in that. Rudimental did pretty well. Had it not been pitted, that could have gone quite the distance, could have gone even further.
It could have gone quite a distance, and unfortunately for him, he did accidentally drive just over the pit, but obviously the whole time the fight can go anyway. I might have been constantly just hitting him, but there was a few times he would just push me around, so he could have done that into the pit at any moment.
Well done. That is your second win, I believe. Yes, yeah. So very well done. And one more fight, you could do it.
Thank you.
So all superficial damage, really. I have really thick TPU armor. Took lots of chunks out of it. Obviously, you can see a lot of damage around the edges, but that's designed to protect the wheels and all the important parts. So everything internal is absolutely fine. I might replace one wheel just because it took a little bit of rubber there. You can see scuffs marks on the bottom here, but that's what's good about this TPU armor. It's really rubbery, flexible, can take a lot of hits. So I'm probably not going to even replace this, to be honest. I'll just clip off the little bits and get ready for my next fight with Chucky.
And speaking of Chucky, they are in next. Dylan Stanley's flipper coming off of the loss against Unstoppable Force seems to be a bit of a theme tonight. But the number 12 seeds are going to be looking for points here to move on in the competition. They are up against Flick the flipper. It can backflip apparently. I'm not sure how that will help them, but we shall find out against the always nippy, always bricky Chucky.
Okay, loaded into the arena for this fight, we have the flipper bot Flick and the lifter, flipper, I don't know what to call Chucky. It's a chucker. Let's call it a chucker. The chucker Chucky, who has a mini bot in this fight, a small wedge. It's Chucky in the red square, Flick in the blue. One of these robots is looking for an elusive win.
2, 1, begin.
Very, very quick start there from Chucky. They will be the favourite to win this one. They are the number 12 seeds for the tournament. Lowest seed of the tournament, yes, but that's still a seed. They're still their favourite, but a good little flick there from Flick's, flicker, I guess you could say.
You could indeed say that, for that is what it is. Flick, another great attack on Chucky. And flips the mini-bot. Shouldn't be focusing on the mini-bot because the big boy is still around. Chucky will take advantage if you give them an inch. They will take that mile.
Yeah, Chucky's a very, very good control bot. It's not only very quick, but it's very well driven, and it is designed to basically pin robots in and just lift them, flick them, and carry them wherever they want to. Flick struggling to self-right, although his flipper does seem to be working a lot better than it did in its first fight, Jevon.
I will say, though, they have managed to lose one of their lifting forks and very close to being tossed out of the arena by Chucky. Chucky coming in for the aggressive attacks. Something about these robots, both Chucky and Icebreaker, two sister robots, they are both very durable and they can both outlast most opponents.
Going down.
They are very close to getting the flipper out of the arena. Can they do it? They're trying their hardest, but they can't quite do it. And now stuck on their own mini-bot for a second there. Another good lift from Chucky as they come in once again on Flick. Flick struggling to self-right.
Yeah, Flick has no answer for this onslaught here from Chucky. I think the flipper of theirs is once again struggling to work properly. We've got a little bit of fancy driving there on one wheel. Trying to impress the judges, I guess, all those styles are no category, but there goes the flipper now.
They managed to free it up just enough to get free once again, but now they're upside down and the mini-bot is in play, trying to get them stuck and doing well at that job. Flick need a little bit of persuasion from Chucky. They manage it. And now Flick is back on its wheels, but they can't retract their flipper. The linkage looks stuck to me.
Yeah, well, that is going to be a major problem for Flick. Without a weapon, it was already getting bullied around with a weapon, let alone without one. They seem to be stuck.
So the judges will now make a decision, and they will be making their decision on weapon effectiveness, control, and aggression. Anderson, if you were a judge, how would you look at this fight?
I would, probably watch it for starters. I would definitely be looking at the control aspect mostly because that's exactly, I mean, these two machines are not exactly known for damage, but weapon effectiveness as well. I mean, Chucky's weapon was definitely the most effective in that fight. It was probably the more aggressive and the more controlled as well. So I would say I'd probably be leaning towards a Chucky victory there, but I'm not a judge. I'm nowhere near smart enough, so...
So we, the judges, have made a decision, and it was a unanimous decision in favour of Chucky.
Chucky getting 4 points there towards their tally. It will put them in good stead to getting into the tournament bracket.
Yes, I mentioned those points. Let's take a look at the table. Unstoppable Force, undefeated in battles so far. 10 points for them. Rudimental on 6. Chucky with the judge's decision on 5. They are looking in a rough spot. Flick on 3. Everything could still change yet. Chucky still has a chance to progress, as does Flick if they can get a big knockout win. Chucky kicks off our round 3 matchups. Dylan Stanley's flipper takes on the lifting robot Rudimental. Two robots, as I said earlier on, doing very similar things in different ways here. Only one of them can progress in the competition. Either at this point could still qualify. It's a game of ground. Who has the better one? It's Rudimental, it's Chucky, and it's in the arena right about now.
So the robots being loaded into the arena right now. We have the seed of Heat E, which is Chucky, seeded 12th, the lowest seed of the series, but it still packs a heck of a punch, and they're going against Rudimental. Two lifting machines here. Chucky is the blue one with the adorable eyes. Rudimental is the yellow and purple machine. Both these robots have had their ups and downs this heat. They've taken a loss each, they've taken some wins each, and now they're about to see who can come out on top in the battle of the lifters. Chucky also has a little mini bot. I have no idea what it's called, so I'm gonna call it Prongs.
Who? Prongs?
Oh, Blueberry. Blueberry, yes. Sticking with the fruit theme.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, begin.
Chucky very quick across the box, but Rudimental straight underneath them. The forks lower on Rudimental seemingly, but Chucky gets a good lift in. Yeah, Rudimental has to self-right.
That was very good driving there by Chucky, able to just drive around there, get underneath, throw them up and over. There was one issue with Chucky, is that his weapon does allow it to get flipped over a lot itself as well. But the driving is so good! And
it's all over! What a move!
Fantastic control there by Chucky, plucking them up into the air and dumping Rudimental over the wall.
Okay, we are here with Rudimental coming off a tough loss to Chucky there. Ended up in the out of the arena zone.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise. I think it's not super common for lifters to ooter each other, but it was a fantastic drive from Dylan, and yeah, it got me perfectly. So a bit of a surprise, but it was close there for about 5 seconds.
How hard is it to fight a robot that is just so frantic like Chucky running around the arena?
Yeah, I think a lot of the other robots we fight sort of drive in a similar fashion. I think it's just that he's so wide and he's also got such a interesting setup. He just finds a way to get underneath you and corral you into areas where you wouldn't normally want to be. So yeah, it was a great drive from him.
So where do we go from here with Rudimental? A redesign or sticking with existing design and iterate a bit more on it?
Yeah, it's a good question. I've been sort of iterating for the last couple of years with this kind of concept, but there's some certain challenges with running Nerf lifter motors versus servos and things like that. I'll definitely want to continue building this as a lifter, but maybe look at a different avenue or different mechanism.
Well, commiserations on the main tournament run, but will we see you perhaps in a whiteboard or a tag team match tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Just enjoy a few more fights, hopefully.
Excellent. We will hopefully see you then. Thank you very much. Okay, we are here with Chucky. Seems to be a very underrated robot. Your team's known for Icebreaker a lot, but Chucky seems to sneak in and causes a lot of chaos.
It was described as frantic, which is exactly what it is. I think it's a bit faster than I am. He tends to be a solid bot. He'll get reasonably far. Never does particularly well, unfortunately. My son and Icebreaker tend to take most of those accolades, but yeah, it's solid. It's like a brick. So fortunately, we haven't had too many spinners today. But I mean, I was really worried about that fight because Rudimental's like pretty much the same kind of robot, really strong flipper, really good driver. So I was really worried about that. I was really happy to see him end up in the Utah. Yeah, I'm not quite sure quite how it happened, but I don't think it was skill. I think it was more luck than judgment.
I mean, it was a stunning maneuver that actually caused the finish where you managed to hook Rudimental on the forks. Is that something that you can naturally do that, or was this some weird fluke accident that just worked in your favour?
Fluke accident, absolutely. Yeah. There's no driving skill involved. It's just really fast. I send it around, flip a bit, and things happen, and not usually out of my control. Yeah.
Pure chaos incarnate, but it is doing you well in the competition.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Our final match tonight sees Unstoppable Force, the eggbeater undefeated at this point, take on the flipper of Flick, who we haven't really seen get started tonight, but hopefully they'll have worked out some of the issues ready for this match. They have a special config once again to face off against Unstoppable Force, but as Unstoppable Force has proven tonight, those configs, they just don't work on them. We shall find out if Flick has worked out the secret ingredient here.
Loaded into the box for our final battle here in Heat E. We have Flick over in the blue square, the spring flipper. They've struggled a bit today. They are currently sitting at no wins, but 3 points on the board. They are going up against Unstoppable Force, who are looking to make it all the way to being undefeated.
3.
They sit at 10 points.
2.
5 more will see them.
1.
Perfect.
Begin.
Yeah, and I think they might potentially get those points. Listen to the whir on that spinner. One huge hit there to Flick, but it's self-right spectacularly, and it's still mobile. But the Unstoppable Force has proven to be a very destructive, very hard-to-beat machine here, and definitely a dark horse for this tournament.
Oh, that
is
gone. Not happy.
Seize.
The front armour torn from the robot. It's still a little bit attached, but no. The tap out happens, and Unstoppable Force gets a perfect card.
Well, I don't want to use the Unstoppable Force pun again, but Unstoppable Force?
Yeah, it's the new weapon is performing just sort of how I want it to now. Like before, the weapon didn't do much damage, it just sort of hit people. Now it's actually hitting people hard.
What do you want to say to that?
It hit it hard enough to set my choo-choo off, which no one else has ever done. So yeah, it hit really hard. I wanted him to try and hit my wedge off, and he did exactly that. So perfect.
I mean, apart from the wedge and the wheel, is there much more? I suppose you haven't had a look inside yet, but
it's all running fine. Everything's still flipping. I just didn't put my wheel on properly, and it split that, and I don't want to take more damage than necessary. You know, the forks are bent up. My game is ground, and then if I can't do that, I don't stand much of it's not much of a fight. So, but that hits like a truck.
It really does. You've done pretty well this past day.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I have this weird trend where I win every preliminary fight, but then I'll go and lose the first knockout fight. So we get to see how tomorrow goes. I know there's some evil people in the quarters, but at least I know fighting this robot, I've seen you do some good flips before. So if it got in the wrong place at the wrong time, he could have sent me straight into the Utah zone.
Well, that was a very fun fight to watch. I'm sorry, it's...
Yeah, it is what it is, you know. Back to the drawing board, make some changes. It drove so much better today, so, you know, the flipper didn't work. I broke a servo, so I'm running one servo, so half power. But it drove so much better, so I'm happy with like where it is. I'm just gonna, you know, make it better for the next time.
And for you, just charge your batteries and come back tomorrow.
Currently, yeah, just charge the batteries, come back tomorrow. There could possibly be internal damage, like self-inflicted damage somewhere.
Cool. Well, that was fun. I enjoyed that. Thank you for joining me and showing off this. Yeah. But no. Good job all round.
Well, here is your final points check-in of the evening. Unstoppable Force goes undefeated, getting all 15 points and moving on to the round of 16. And Chucky claws it back to get 10 points, and they will progress through to the play-ins. It's been an exciting night of combat. The seeds scraped by. From Anderson Hill, Jimmy Cottam and Ty Daly, I've been Jevon Woodrow. Good night.